Hey everyone, this is Ryan. We're going to go over the very last part of Play That Funky Music, White Boy. Looks like this. Lay down the boogie and play that funky music till you die. The first thing that I want to mention is that you totally do not have to play this part if you don't want to. You could simply do this. Lay down the boogie and play that funky music till you die. So you can totally do that if you want to. This riff is completely optional. There's a lot of benefits to being able to learn how to play a riff like this. The biggest thing being learning how to articulate melody note lines, pretending like you're holding a pick. If I played this kind of like finger style, it would sound like this. Like that. And that sounds fine. It's not the same as... And that gives you a lot more like energy and force for a song that's just so upbeat. So that's kind of where the benefit of this is. With this riff, you can do it down. I do it all down picked. You can do alternative picking. But I just find that that's kind of harder. So I just like to do the down picks. So let's go over what this is. We start with an open E string. Then we can do our third finger on the 3rd fret of the B. And to kind of get the power and the force that I want, you can see that my other fingers are still muting the strings. So that way I can get the force that I want with my right hand without having to worry about these other strings ringing out and kind of muddying it up a bit. So we have here, then same thing with open. And for this note, I just try to be very articulate, intentionally about hitting one string at a time. But I mean, my G string ring out there, it's not going to be the end of the world. But just try to be more articulate on that open one. Then we go back to the D, 3rd fret on the B string. We have an open B. Then we have our 2nd fret on the G string. And when I play this note, you can see that my fingers are still laying across all the strings. And just naturally when I'm playing licks like this, my thumb is wrapped around because my guitar neck is small enough and my thumbs are big enough to wrap around and mute the low E. My middle finger is also very slightly touching that D string. So that way I don't accidentally play that. So that's something that you can practice as we play through this riff together. Then we have the 2 open B strings. Then we have, again, another 2nd fret G string. Then we have an open B again. And then the last 4 notes, we go back to that 2nd fret G string. Then we have an open G string. So again, just try to be more articulate, unlike me. And then 2nd finger, 2nd fret on the D string to play that E note. And I do the same thing as I did on the G string, where my middle finger is pressing down, but it's also very slightly touching the A string. So you may have been taught in guitar to go on the very tips of your fingers, and that's very true if you want to play chords, because you want all the strings to ring out and your fingers to make room for them. When you're playing riffs and melody lines, you kind of want your fingers to be a little bit more flat, so that way they mute the strings that you don't want to play. So that's kind of where my finger is actually placed. And of course, that's going to depend on where your fingers are and how your hands are. That's the 2nd fret on the D. To play this open D, I'm able to wrap my thumb around and mute the E and the A strings. And my 1st finger is able to mute all of the bottom 3 strings there. If you were not able to do that, and you were like you can be very articulate and still maybe try to just play the bottom 4 strings and then use your 1st finger to mute these other ones, like this. And if the A string rings out, like, it's going to be fine. So let's try to piece all of this together very slowly, and let's try to really focus on our muting. High E string, so just be articulate. Then we have 3rd fret on the B. Then we have an open B, articulate. Then 3rd fret on the B. You can lay your fingers across there. Then we have an other open B string. Then we have 2nd fret on the G. Then we have open Bs, one, and then another one. Then we have second fret on the G string. Then we have another open B string. Then we have second fret on the G. Then we have an open G string. And then we have second fret on the D string. And then we have an open D. So now let's try piecing all of this snail speed slow. Maybe like do, 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 do. Here we go. Open. Do and do, 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 and do, 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 do. So that's the ending riff for Play That Funky Music, White Boy. I will see y'all in the practice video.